Good evening. My name is Karen Porterfield, and I'm running for Congress here in the 8th District. But before I start tonight, I'd like to thank the Wenatchee World. I'd like to thank KOHO Radio for sponsoring this political debate. If we don't change who we send back to Washington, D.C., we are going to continue to get the same outcome: partisan politics and gridlock. I'm not a career politician. I'm not a millionaire who says I'm a job creator. I'm a part of the American middle class. I believe that we have a future for this country that is worthy of the sacrifice of the people who have come before us. And I know that we accomplish much when we work together. Now, my career has been about building community. I have been a part of groups of people who believed in what they worked for. I have helped nonprofit organizations raise more than $300 million, and they created jobs, transformed lives, and built community. I have worked to develop affordable senior housing for our seniors in many of our communities across the state. And I have been lucky to be a part and work for faith-based organizations, so I understand the critical role that religion plays in building community. And I've been an educator, and I have worked on educating tomorrow's leaders on understanding the problems before we start applying solutions. Now, government, business, and the nonprofit and religious community all has a critical role to play in building community, and it's each a different role. And we need them all to be successful if we're going to be successful. Now, my opponent and I have very different visions of the future for this country, which is no surprise because we've arrived here on very different paths. So I hope tonight we are talking about jobs in the economy, Social Security, the deficit, agriculture, immigration, the environment. The challenges facing this next Congress are indeed daunting. Now, the great thing about democracy is we get a choice. We can choose a new vision and change, or we can continue with the failed agenda of the Republican leadership and Congressman Reichert. This is an important election, and this is an election that's going to impact us and our families for this next generation. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being an engaged member of our community.
Well, welcome, Karen, and I look forward to this opportunity to discuss the issues too. I think it's so important for all of us as citizens of the greatest nation in the world to come together on a night like this and have a chance to listen to candidates running for office, for you to have an opportunity to ask questions through the panel and to hear our answers. It's the way our country was built. I want to tell you just first of all that being a first responder, I want to say a special thank you to all those firefighters and volunteers that have been putting in hours and hours and days and weeks of hard work. And you know, some of you may be relatives, friends, and neighbors of some of the firefighters, but I also know their service because I was a public servant in the sheriff's office and continue that public service here as your representative, hopefully in January. My story and my path here to Congress is a real sort of, I think of it as a Cinderella story. I'm the oldest of 7 kids. I grew up in a family that was, first of all, 7 kids in a 2-room house in East Renton. The boys slept in the garage. My family struggled financially. Domestic violence was a problem that occurred in my home that I had to deal with. I remember hiding in the closet, covering my brothers and sisters' heads with pillows and blankets so they didn't hear the screams. I ran away from home when I was a teenager more than once. But fortunately, someone was looking out for me. And I ended up graduating from high school, graduating from Concordia Lutheran College, joined the Air Force Reserve, and after active duty, I joined the Sheriff's Office. I spent 33 years there. I put my life on the line. I have 2 Valor Awards. from some close calls in my early years. I was the lead detective on the Greenberg murder case. I was a SWAT commander. I was a hostage negotiator. So I know when to negotiate, and I know when to kick in the door back in Washington, D.C. Those negotiation skills come in handy. I ended up as the sheriff. And in my last year as sheriff, Jennifer Dunn called me and said, "I'm retiring. I'd like you to consider running for Congress." I thought she was crazy. I said yes. I won my first race and obviously won the races thereafter. 2 of those I was already counted out as a loser. I'm back here today because I want to continue to be your representative. I'm in a position today on the Ways and Means Committee to help direct this country back on a path to prosperity, back to creating jobs, back to creating freedom and giving our people in this country the choices that some of our men and women in our armed services have fought so desperately for and died for. And I thank you for your time tonight and appreciate your attendance. Thank you.